Welcome to this presentation of the Rotary Club of North Bethesda, Maryland, USA. Our club was established in 1974. We meet every Friday morning at 7:45 a.m., and we often invite guest speakers to give presentations on all kinds of interesting subjects. Please contact us through our website at nbrotary.org. And thanks for watching. Our speaker today is Spiros Balntas. He is the Director of Economic Development of the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation.
As you heard, my name is Spiros Balntas, Director of Economic Development for Montgomery County. I'm sure many of you are residents or familiar with Montgomery County, but we're an inclusive community here in the greater Washington metro area. This presentation is just a brief overview of who we are, what we do, what we have been doing, and what sort of value we add to the community and the business community at large. But this is just a brief overview of who Montgomery County is, a very diverse, industry leading within the biotech industry business community. Many of our residents are foreign born, speak a number of different languages. Our school system is composed of many bilingual, international baccalaureate, degree-seeking, programmatic school system that has attracted many foreign companies and foreign dignitaries, of course, being so close to Washington, D.C. and its consular core. Our residents really make the majority of what the heartbeat of Montgomery County is, which is, composed of many PhDs and, of course, a diversified industry group, which I'll go over in a minute. So MCDC is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our sole focus is, of course, to attract businesses to Montgomery County, encourage startup creation and new business development opportunities within the county, as well as expanding those companies within the county. And we do that programmatically with a number of different resources, connections, and partnerships that we have both on the public and private side. We're 100% publicly funded by Montgomery County, and our board, our elected board, is composed of both public and private leadership. Our focus area within our FY 21, that's a financial year 2021, has a greater long-term economic recovery emphasis on stabilizing and making opportunities with short-term initiatives for incentivizing and encouraging economic growth, primarily focused on innovation and integrated, inclusive set of tools for the diverse business community that we have. And those areas include the advancing Montgomery County, its industry and growth sector diversification. So that means creating new business industries within Montgomery County and growing those within. Fostering Montgomery County entrepreneurial activity, of course, new business creation, new startup creation, business formation, and the likes, entrepreneurship altogether. And then responding to the needs, of course, of the targeted business industries and emerging industries within the county. And we've developed a comprehensive economic strategy recently enacted by the county council legislation to transfer that responsibility from the county executive to our group. So historically, the county executive would create an economic development strategy for the whole county. We are now responsible for that. And our focus will be primarily in outlining the requirements based on the legislation, which include targeted themes like business development, so attracting businesses, retaining those that are here and growing jobs. I'll focus on housing, transportation, workforce development, and inclusive economy. So we're going to be leading those efforts, and I'm very excited to be a part of a group that will be creating those things for the county in order to create a healthy economy, create a good talent pipeline, help with business formation and local business environment all together, so we could build a good marketing brand of Montgomery County and share our civic mission to the rest of the community at large. What have we been doing for the last 12 months to 24 months? Given the pandemic, our focus has been on economic recovery. We've launched a biolab pilot in order to look into and help, of course, with the pandemic, small companies and large who are tasked and responsible in creating genes and vaccines. That actually happens to be one of our main focuses in Montgomery County. You see other biotech life sciences industry clusters throughout the nation. They are more pharmaceutical based, more other focuses within our focus areas, more gene vaccine creation. So we have launched a biolab pilot to help in lab formation, lab creation all throughout the county. We've been providing restaurant relief funds to restaurants who've been affected by the pandemic. A lot of shutdowns have happened in the county, and that's negatively affected the restaurant industry. We've also launched telework funds to companies who weren't necessarily prepared for this pandemic and going completely remote. As you can imagine, of our various businesses, it was a challenge for them to just retrench and go remote. So we provided funds for that. And we had also provided local production funds for the creation of PPE equipment, and our 3R initiative, restaurant grants, also continuation of our restaurant relief program, which provided funds to those restaurants. So we've been very, very busy alongside of doing what we do, which is helping businesses grow and prosper and attracting new businesses. Of course, we do this not alone, but with other partners. As you can imagine, we have a number of different nonprofit organizations, government funded, both private sector and public sector funded groups. And we also try to blast as much information as we can on the resources that we know of. And typically what we do is we create these business starter kits or business resources for small businesses, and we share that amongst the business community, both in LinkedIn, via email, via our partners through business associations, industry associations, and the like, professional occupation associations, those all throughout, not only here in the greater Washington area, but all throughout those who are receiving our newsletters, our marketing. In addition to that, like I said, we partner with other agencies, some of which are listed here, like the Latino Economic Development Center, Maryland Women's Business Center, SCORE, which is the Senior Corps of Retired Executives, Maryland Business Express, Maryland Department of Commerce. These are some of our agencies, both statewide and locally based, who help support our efforts in terms of connecting to small businesses and also large businesses to help them with their needs to grow and retain their business in Montgomery County. So as you might know, it's not always about resources. It's always about what I hear often is being more operational as quick as possible, or speed to market initiatives, which we have through our president and CEO, Ben Wu. We've provided a commerce cabinet, which is essentially available to projects who, of large scale and of large nature, have a huge fiscal impact on Montgomery County. And what we do is we want to make sure that those companies are operational in time, much as the case, like, for example, the Marriott relocation headquarters. We had to fight tooth and nail to that one, ensure that they wouldn't leave Montgomery County. But what we wanted to make sure was that their plans and their permits were on time, in order to look at the time frame that they wanted to be operational. They want to take occupancy of that space, and we backtracked from that time frame. What are the set requirements from both planning and permitting departments? And we were able to conduct that. And now they're obviously not only building their headquarters, but their project is on time, and if not actually accelerating at a faster speed than they had imagined. We also, in addition to not only being operational, but doing business in the county, encourage procurement opportunities through the county, the college, and all county funded, like Montgomery County Public Schools, in order to encourage those types of public-private initiatives. So we do a number of different things, not just provide, incentives and real estate site selection services. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a number of different partners that we align ourselves with. Some are more, binational in nature, such as the Asian American Chamber of Commerce, but we also have the Rockville Chamber, Greater Bethesda Chamber. All of these partners that you see here are aligned with us, work together with us, connect us to their businesses, their groups, in order for us to let them know of the resources, the connection, and of course, the assistance that we provide should any of these businesses hit a snag or are experiencing some trouble with hiring, with particular workforce needs, or having skills challenges, or would like to go abroad in any economic development missions, business development missions. A few years back with the Sister Cities initiatives, the county and Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation led an initiative to South Korea and China, where we were able to get in contact and communicate with other business industry leaders in that market and connect them to Montgomery County businesses who came along with us, which we created much success as a result of that. Hospitals and other corporate leaders were alongside of us in that trip. And so we couldn't have done it without, of course, the partnership that we have both on the public and private side. But I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that it's not just Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation doing economic development. It is a network of different groups that are working alongside of each other in order to ensure the economic prosperity of this county. So as you may have heard, MCDC is going to be focusing on attraction, retention, and expansion efforts across these targeted industries, which isn't exactly all inclusive. This is very much a summary of these different types of industries. For example, like I said, biohealth and life sciences, we're really going to be focusing there on genes and vaccines, therapeutics. But we also see that there may be some opportunities within medical device, which we're seeing here and there, becoming an opportunistic attraction, business development opportunity for the county. So this isn't a one-all tell-all slide here, but there are many different types of sub-industry groups that we are focusing and we're targeting our efforts in order to generate, new business development opportunities through either supply chain and others. I myself am focused on the corporate headquarters, management companies, ancillary businesses, those within the hospitality industry, those within the real estate development industries, particularly REITs, which are real estate investment trusts. The state happens to be a favorite there because of the legislation advantages that they create for REITs. So we do happen to have a strong contingent there. And you see among other industries here listed. In addition to that, we also create brochures for these industries. So we sort of explain to them what is the story that's taking place in Montgomery County for that particular industry. There's a structured ask, there's a value proposition that we pitch to these industries in order to communicate why Montgomery County, why for that particular industry sector does it make sense for these companies to relocate here or to expand their business here versus another jurisdiction in the country. So in addition to those business development opportunities that I just mentioned there earlier, we're obviously also and uniquely focused, of course, on federal engagement strategy, which expands our strategy and partnerships with federal laboratories that are not only located here, but those that are in the network, federal funding programs, regulatory agencies, technologies which can be commercialized, and spin-off companies that can, from a federal foundation become private sector companies, which we've seen many times happen here locally, as well as these are very valued connections to private industries because you get access to federal funding, you get access to federal resources and infrastructure. 18 federal different agencies happen to be operating in Montgomery County, among those FDA, NIH, NIST, NCCOE, and others that are based here, which make this a very valuable, very uniquely diverse industry clustered community. So it's a very unique place, actually, as opposed to being in any other part of the country where you have not only a private sector industry cluster, but also strong federal assets that keep this place running and keep it continually innovating and continually looking and seeking to new horizons within those industry groups. As I mentioned, our team is composed of about 25 individuals here. We do have our own marketing teams, which we create our own brochures. We have not only in different languages, but in different geographies within the county. It's not always about Bethesda, Rockville, Gaithersburg, but it's all about Olney, it's about Germantown, it's about Silver Spring, and all the other different communities that we're representing in the county. We want to make sure that all of them get equitable opportunities to not only get businesses to their county, but also help with development opportunities and things other than industries like shopping centers. We're also focused on that. And so we create these brochures in-house, everything from the art to the design to the content, the materials that you'll find. If you go to thinkmoco.com today, you'll find a number of different brochures and publications that we've produced over time, which help support our cause. And like I said, continuation of that, not only is it Montgomery County focused, but we're also Maryland focused. We're focused on what the Maryland Tech Council provides, which is another industry group that is quasi private and public, there to support life science and technology companies through venture mentoring services that they provide. TEDCO is a venture capital arm of the state. Again, also there to provide assistance to companies, both small and large, and help them with their venture capital needs. And then we also have opportunities for the small player, like the entrepreneurs. We have the Entrepreneur Hub in the state. These are all different types of resources within our states and counties' economic development ecosystem that's there to provide assistance to companies and help them with their growth and their challenges, but also provide them with the necessary venture mentoring. In addition to that, we're also communicating our opportunity zones in Maryland, within particular Montgomery County. 13 are composed here in the county. So we're also trying to attract investors to the county to help with real estate development and funding of companies that are within the opportunity zones through opportunity zone funds. So a little bit about last year's performance, what we've been able to do, our little 20-25 person agency. We've done quite a bit of work, a number of different new job creations that we've added to the community. So for every dollar that is provided in economic development, $4 go back into the community. In some cases, I've seen $10 go back to the community with some of the fiscal impact analysis that we've provided in terms of our impact to our county. We've been able to retain a number of different jobs, 448, as you can see here, and new investments, which are all, of course, fiscal tax revenue to the county. While we are publicly funded, the county is a business, believe it or not. The lights have to stay on, the roads have to be paved and patched, of course, and all of this can't be done without, of course, the taxpayer, which includes both business and residents. So our value, of course, is to ensure that the lights stay on, that we have community assets continually running, our public school system prized, of course, in the country as being one of the top in this area. And we can't do it without, of course, ensuring that we have a good fiscal revenue to the county. And that is through retaining our jobs, creating new ones, and attracting new industry and new growth in the county. We're also been noted as in our 8th congressional district as a leader within the life sciences and engineering jobs. There's a lot of satellite communication companies here, a lot of engineering focused companies here, in addition to those life sciences that I mentioned earlier. And with that comes the workers, the science, technology, engineering, and math workers that are based here in the county, which we punch above average in terms of counties of our size all throughout the country, in terms of how many of these workers are clustered in this area. JLL recently came up with a study that reported that within the life sciences cluster, Montgomery County is top 5 in the nation, and from a state perspective, we're number 4, up from number 5 years before, in terms of being competitive, in terms of the top area for life sciences. The state itself, which includes Baltimore, has a nice cluster of life sciences companies, but Montgomery County is really the heavyweight champion here in the state. Within the county, we've received nearly $8 billion in equity and venture funding in 2020. A lot of that is composed of course, for the genes and vaccines that were created today, emergent biohealth solutions and others within Montgomery County were recipients of federally funded programs in order to tackle and fight the pandemic. And in addition to all this activity, we continually grow and prosper from within. The National Capital Region, of course, is composed of 22.5 million square feet. So Montgomery County alone has about 10.6 million square feet. We're gaining an additional, by the way, 1.6 million square feet of lab space. And that's just adding to the demand in laboratory spaces here in Montgomery County. With a 5.2 vacancy, it's almost at full capacity. I mean, that's an arbitrary number, 5.2. It could be 3.4, it could be 5.2. It goes back and forth, but it really hovers around there. We're almost at full capacity. That has given wave to investors to invest in Montgomery County, invest in laboratory spaces, which actually happens to be a very safe asset, because no matter where the economy is, health above all is of utmost importance. And as an asset within your portfolio, if you happen to have residential, office, a lot of developers, believe it or not, within the area are looking into life sciences to diversify their portfolio, and they're looking at life sciences real estate space. So that's adding to a lot of the fuel and a lot of the demand within the county, and we're certainly excited about that. And I'll kind of share briefly here some of those projects in a moment. A lot of these are just a quick snap of what our top job producers were last year. From those that I mentioned earlier, Vigene Biosciences, Creative Associates, Genetron, some of these, of course, I've worked on. And again, some of these companies, for example, Creative Associates based in DC decided to relocate to Bethesda. Genetron was based in North Carolina, relocated to Montgomery County, and Vigene, of course, was expanding here. All of these companies are creating new jobs, creating new investment within the county. And here's a quick snapshot of Novavax's headquarters in Montgomery County. We're also tracking new real estate sites that are taking place in the county. Some of these you may or may not be aware of, but proposed development we're continually being aware of as we're talking to new tenants in the county, considering new headquarters operations. Some of which you'll hear in the next few weeks or a couple months, depending on when we can announce these projects. But we're obviously looking into new properties, new office development that's taking place. One of the ones that we're particularly focused on and excited about is the Dickerson Power Plant, which is composed of 3 different power plants, one of which is being decommissioned and is adding a number of different opportunities for either data warehousing or industrial manufacturing to take place in Dickerson, Maryland. Of course, it's a challenging site, but also an opportunistic site for a particular user. Some of these others that you see listed here are new products that are coming in, new real estate development that's coming into the marketplace and adding a ton of square feet to the commercial, to those sectors. In order to help us attract and, of course, feed this growth that we're experiencing. And some of these labs that I mentioned earlier, the 1.6 million, here are those that are coming into the marketplace. Matten Companies is actually creating 2 opportunities within Montgomery County, within Milestone and North Frederick Ave. You'll see that they're going to be adding a number of different almost half, if not almost 1 million square feet on their own of life science space that they're creating. They're actually doing an adaptive reuse of Milestone, which is an office development to be able to attract life science companies there. That's about 500,000 square feet. We're very much excited about WMATA and the Hopkins campus is going to create an opportunity here. We're certainly excited about those. Again, when industry talks to us, when we're talking to tenants or companies that are interested in Montgomery County, we sort of give them a lay of the land in terms of what's out there, what's available. We also have pocketbook listings. These are among those pocketbook listings that aren't necessarily available through a real estate broker, or that we happen to have a relationship with the landlord in order to help sort of create a conversation on what would be an opportunity for our headquarters manufacturing or life science focused tenant coming into the marketplace. So we're very much aware and excited of these new opportunities that are coming into the county. And of course, 909 Rose, Pike and Rose, if you haven't visited, very exciting, very new real estate development, large scale real estate development. You'll see there, it used to be a mall years back, and has created now into a walkable live, work, play community. They're adding, of course, new square feet. 915 Meeting Street is planned, 900 Meeting Street is also planned. 500,000 square feet composed of those two alone. There's additional square feet. This developer, by the way, has a office retail focus. They're also, by the way, interested in life sciences, which is very exciting. I'm telling you, developers, they can't get enough hands on our life science space. So it happens to be a very much exciting opportunity for those who aren't necessarily experienced in that sector, but they're partnering themselves up with other specialists that can certainly propose their development. And you may see in future time life sciences companies, by the way, interested in locating in these very hip, very live, work, play type of communities where they're amenity rich and focused on attracting companies like the ones that we're working with today. So here, by the way, is a quick overview of some of our incentives that we work with. If you happen to know, or you yourself are interested in creating jobs in Montgomery County, there are rewards for that, both at the state level and at the county level. I'm not going to go over these. This is just basically an example of some of the programs that we bring into play, whether it's investor focused, if you happen to be a cybersecurity or life science company and you're seeking investments from investors, there's actually tax benefits for them in helping attract those investments. Also within workforce training, we have programs. We are very much across the board looking into all programs that include, real estate focuses. For example, our MOVE program, which is an acronym for Make Office Vacancies Extinct. That's there, and that's available for companies who want to relocate to Montgomery County that have never operated in the county, helping them with $8 a square foot. It's a grant, it's a subsidy, it's a soft landing package for their relocation. And $8 a square foot wouldn't go much when you're paying $25, $30 a square foot on office space. That's Class A or Class B. So you can call that tenant improvement dollars. But a number of the programs here, it would probably make more sense, and of course is what I encourage, for people to talk to me first before you start looking at the surface. What sort of project you're bringing into the county? How is it that we can assist? What sort of value you bring to the county? What the county and the state can do to offer to relocate your headquarters, your business, your operation, or help you expand what dollars are available for that particular industry sector. We happen to be focused not only on county, but also state and federal programs. So we really bring everything under the sun, to the conversation in order to help create jobs and create investment in our county. I hope that was brief, concise, and very efficient. I couldn't quite capture it all, alpha through omega, but I am here for questions and comments or any suggestions you may have to help us improve our county, help us grow and prosper in the county. Certainly with a group of 20 to 25 individuals, we have a $4 million budget. There's not a whole lot that we can do, but I think that we've been punching above our weight. And we couldn't have done this. We couldn't be able to do this without our partners, which I've explained earlier. But I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
I have a quick, well, probably very long question. Maybe you have a short answer. How do you feel and why do you think we lost Amazon? And do you think that was good or bad for us?
Well, I'll tell you this, before Amazon, you had, and of course, before 9/11, you had a number of different companies where currently Amazon is located that was based in that particular strip. And after 9/11, many of these companies left that area, particularly the defense sector left that area, and then left almost 500,000 square feet or more vacant because they wanted to make sure that they were strategically focused and not incurring risks pertaining to terrorists at the time. So inadvertently, Arlington had 500,000, if not more, of square feet rapidly available across the street from an airport and Metro serve. We didn't have anything to that nature to be able to help them with their phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. What we did do, of course, we comprised and obviously provided them with the White Flint opportunity, which gave them a campus, not so much one size fits all headquarters, but a whole campus, an urban campus, which you will see today in Seattle, that they currently have, and they have a number of different buildings spread in this area where many of their workers happen to be in. I think we came in very strong. I'll tell you this, Montgomery County was unheard of for many years. And I'm not going to take any credit of this, of course, but when HQ2 headquarters, Amazon headquarters number 2 was out for bids, we came out as top 20. And I think that provided us not only a spot on the map in terms of who we are, but I think we came out as winners because why? We didn't spend $1 on incentives. Now, if you can imagine, we gave more than what many other communities what more than any other community would have offered for this company. And we're benefiting. Why? Because many of those residents are going to have to live somewhere. Of the 50,000 workers that they're going to be attracting, are going to have to live somewhere. And so Montgomery County, from a tax revenue, from an income tax revenue, gains to add that increased population to Montgomery County. So, we gain it not having to fork any money, but we also gain it to happen to have a large employer in the region, which they're going in every industry sector you can imagine, from pharmaceuticals, I hear, and pharmaceutical supply chain. So they're competing with the CVSs and others. Amazon is going in that industry. So I believe that Montgomery County will have a chance in other opportunities, whether it's in the data warehousing, whether in any particular area that Amazon happens to be working. We have a great relationship with that employer and other employers within the region. And I think we came out successful. And as you can imagine, what this pandemic has brought to us today, this remote working environment, a lot of companies out there are kind of questioning whether they need this amount of square footage. So you can imagine, not only the developer has laid out, plans to develop HQ2, but a number of other companies who've relocated and expanded in their industries, in their sectors, in their particular locations. They're sort of faced with the question of how much real estate do I need? And so now, I know we're veering off a little bit of the topic. There's a lot of subleasing opportunities, a lot of subleasing space from tenants who, do they need 100,000 square feet? Hey, if half my workers can come to work, 3 days out of the week, and we can sort of hot desk or hotel desk, as they call it, which is shared, a shared space. Half of that square feet is being subleased out to another tenant. So, Amazon, they needed 2 million square feet of space, and I believe they're going up to 5 million square feet of space. The question now comes: do we need all that space? And so there's going to be this huge change, and that was not too far along, but this huge change, dramatic change that many companies are facing. Of course, others are bucking against the trend, like JP Morgan and others that we hear that they're saying, this is just a fad. Back in the days, Oracle also faced whether they needed to go remote as well. But, we certainly don't know, but we certainly see that there could be an opportunity where remote work is here to stay. A hybrid work system is here to stay. And so, I don't know, is Arlington winning in the end, or is Virginia winning in the end, now that's taking place, and now that companies really are deciding, or really are trying to compete for this workforce, and they need to ensure that they provide them with the most amenities. I mean, look at Facebook; they have 100% remote workforce policy. They want to ensure that they have the best talent, and they're going to do everything they possibly can in order to remain that talent in their organizations. And real estate comes into question. And so, did Montgomery County win? Certainly, we didn't win the project, but I think we won the aftermath, or the aftershock of having such a large employer in this region, which creates opportunities in the long run. I believe that we did all that we could, given the fact that we had a space like ours in the White Flint area. And we also put a name to the face, or Montgomery County on the map, which, for many years didn't necessarily exist, but today we're reversing the rhetoric, reversing the trend in terms of doing business in the county. So I think we came out successful. Sorry, Charles.
May
Sorry,
I
go ahead.
may I ask a question? Thanks for a very informative presentation, first of all. Let me tell you what my reaction was upon moving to this area in the 1970s. It seemed pretty obvious to me that, judging from the traffic on the Beltway, traffic on roads in general, the county was becoming overcrowded in the 1970s. What's happened since then is that we have crammed in more and more and more and more. If you stay out of a certain neighborhood for a month or two, when you drive into that area, the next time you find another high rise, and then another high rise, and another high rise. 270 is perfectly clogged up. Everything is getting clogged up. Is there a limit to development? Do we reach a point when we create an unlivable environment? I don't know when that limit is reached, but I thought in the 1970s, this county had better put up signs on its borders saying, closed, closed, closed. That's the opposite of what happened, obviously. We have developed. Now, when does this development start to undermine the humane quality of life?
And I think you bring up, certainly valid points. And that's, I want to emphasize that, while Montgomery County does have, an urban, suburban environment and communities, also please witness that we do happen to have an agricultural reserve, which is undeveloped farmlands, and quite unique to this area because not only does it provide, the agricultural industry, both in wines and in other products that are produced here in the county, but it's a model to the nation that basically preserves historic agricultural areas and those communities within. So I can tell you that there's not a whole, subjectively speaking, there's not a whole lot of traffic in Clarksburg that you would probably be aware of. But I could say that, people like going to busy restaurants, not empty ones. And so the popularity of this county is due to the fact that we are inviting industry. It is continually growing. To answer your question, concurrency within roadway systems, within public school systems, within infrastructure is, of course, a priority to the county. I'll give you the case where in White Oak is a 300-acre life science development. That project hasn't started because concurrency and infrastructural needs go first before development goes first. Real estate or a shovel can't be put into that ground until the developer itself has provided enough funds to support waterway, sewer, highway or traffic, roadway systems, and all the other things that create what is a community, a livable community. Otherwise, you're putting the buggy in front of the horse and nothing to pull it with, right? And so we want to ensure that there is equitable, of course, economic growth throughout the county. We want to make sure that it spreads throughout. And so we want to encourage more in particular areas. That's why there's only 13, if you will, opportunity zones to help invite and encourage development in specific areas because they are either underdeveloped and some other areas, like say, for example, not to put Bethesda on the map, but Bethesda doesn't need more development, say in respect to or in comparison to, let's say, Gaithersburg or any community that you can think of. So we are trying to level the playing field from the county in order to ensure that there's a 30 to 35-minute drive time as opposed to a 40 to an hour drive time between places, right? And there's only so much that government can do because private industry is going to lead where private industry goes, right? Developers are going to go where they think is the next opportunity for that development, or businesses are going to go where their employers or their employees rather would love to go after work, before work, during meetings, to conduct business. And now we need to 10x that. It's not only businesses, but also residents. They want to go to that community because the school systems and all the things that make those communities, the vibrancy of that community happen are all components to traffic, all components to a busy workplace or busy environment. And I go back to concurrency because like the American Legion Bridge and other highway system 270 is a parking lot at certain times of the day. And we understand that. There are plans, there are legislation, and we're going back into the politics of things, which I won't make a mention, but the rapid bus transit and other plans have been proposed. You know, there's so many different plans. Our agency now is focused on, like I said, not only attracting businesses and retaining those that are here, and now uniquely, we are going to create a comprehensive economic strategy to focus on housing, to focus on what you mentioned, transportation, and other areas that, of course, if neglected, would hamper economic development. So we understand that. We're intentionally focused on creating a plan in order to present to the county and present to our various departments within the county what we think is the effective strategy in order to ensure those things provide services equitably all throughout the county. And we certainly tasked in doing that. But I do understand the frustration, but it comes, of course, to no benefit. It comes as a result of being a popular workplace destination and a popular place to live, grow, and prosper, of course. So that is the unfortunate aftermath of successful economic development is traffic, and certainly it can't go. You cannot ignore that. You know, do we add additional lanes? Do we increase, transit through our metro system? There are so many ways that one can look into that and tackle that and expand that. Certainly, the Purple Line is one example of trying to, to encourage growth in other parts of the county, and that alone has met its challenges. So we understand that, and these are topics, of course, which are years down the road that are going to be solved, if not trying to be successfully maneuvered in order to create pockets of growth in other areas where we can expand on. But
Mr. Balntas?
I do understand where you're coming from.
Excuse me, Paul, just one moment. We have gone beyond 8:30, so I just want to. It looks like we have a few more questions. If you could stay around and answer, that would be great. But for those, I know some have dropped off already. For those that need to leave, thank you, and we'll see some folks in person next Friday, and some folks on Zoom.